great players. They have a great organization. And you tell them one thing.
What is good, Raider Nation? It's your boy Raider Alex back with yet another video for you guys. Anybody that's new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Also make sure to hit that bell notification, that way you get notified every time I post a video just like this one. Without further ado, let's jump right into the topic of this video. The Raiders defense was a big talking point in this offseason for the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders have had a mediocre defense for years now, and they were getting a good amount of hype during training camp, during those joint practices. But the time has officially come for this defense and for this team just in general. The regular season is finally upon us, and it's time for this defense to step up and show us that they have actually taken a step forward from previous years. Now, the Raiders defense last game against the Denver Broncos gave up 166 passing yards to Russell Wilson and almost 100 yards on the ground, and in total gave up 16 points to the Denver Broncos. The Raiders were also unable to create a turnover, even though they did recover a fumble, but it was taken back from a penalty from our veteran free agent signing Marcus Peters. So has this defense really improved? Look, let's jump right into the film. Let's analyze the good and the bad from this defense. The Raiders defensive line, and more specifically the interior of this line, did not do great in this game. Here we see the Denver Broncos offensive line dominate and create a huge running lane up the middle, which leads to nice gain for them. Here the Denver Broncos target rookie cornerback Jacorian Bennett on this 3rd and short, and he gets called for the pass interference. Now, I didn't think this should have been called for a PI. To me, it was a ticky-tack play, but also if we look closely, Jacorian Bennett does grab his face mask early on in the route. So ultimately, this should have been a flag either way, but Jacorian Bennett overall was in a good position and had tight coverage, but he just has to clean it up a bit to avoid these flags. Here we see a really good play from one of our best players on this defense week 1, and that's slot cornerback Nate Hobbs. Here he keeps his eyes on the ball, doesn't fall for the play action, and immediately recognizes and sniffs out this screen pass, and the Broncos get 0 yards on this rep. Once again, Nate Hobbs with a great play. He's able to keep his eyes on the ball carrier through traffic, and he closes him down, and he's able to bring the ball carrier down for a loss of yardage right here. Just good physicality from Hobbs. Here at the top of your screen, we see Trayvon Merrick lined up, and the Raiders are running man-to-man coverage, and Trayvon Merrick eventually loses his man as soon as this play turns into a scramble drill for the Broncos. Great run stuff here by linebacker Robert Spillane. He immediately hits the gap and is able to fight his way into the backfield for a loss of yards. Right here, this play leads to a touchdown pass from Russell Wilson. But one thing I gotta know is the fact that just look at the lack of pressure and the overall push we were able to generate from our interior of this defensive line. It just puts our edge rushers in a terrible position because, look, no matter what they do, Russell Wilson can easily evade their pressure. If Max Crosby right here tries to go on the outside, he can just easily step up because the interior is unable to create any type of push, and vice versa. If Max Crosby goes inside like he ultimately does on this play, then Russell Wilson can just easily bounce it to the outside, and eventually Trayvon Merrick gives up a touchdown in zone coverage. Look, it's going to be an uphill battle for this Raiders defense if the defensive line can't step up moving forward in this season. Right here, fantastic open field tackle by Jacorian Bennett on 3rd down. Just a great play by the rookie. Now, unfortunately though, on the next play, it's 4th and short for the Denver Broncos, and they are able to get the Raiders to jump off sides, and more specifically, he gets number 90, Jerry Tillery, to jump on the hard count, which gives the Broncos an automatic 1st down. Tillery has got to do better. This was just a dumb mistake, and these are the type of plays that will typically lose you games in the National Football League. And right here, we just see Max Crosby doing Max Crosby type of things. Absolutely dominates his one-on-one rep, and he's able to bring down Russell Wilson. Bottom of your screen right here, the rookie Jacorian Bennett gets beat deep and is forced to bring him down to avoid this touchdown pass. Gets called for the pass interference. inside the red zone once again, and the Raiders defensive line gets zero push on this play. And when this happens, the Raiders defense is just in big trouble in my opinion. Russell Wilson has all day to throw. The defensive line doesn't set the edge as well. He runs it to the outside and he finds the open man for a touchdown. Now here the Raiders defense gets bailed out, as this was essentially a blown coverage by the secondary, and this should have been a huge game for the Denver Broncos, but luckily the Raiders got bailed out and wide receiver Philip Dorsett was out of bounds. But I'm telling you, the Raiders cannot afford to do these type of mistakes against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills next week. Once again, a great tackle from our rookie Jacorian Bennett. Overall, he was a tackling machine in this game. Now this was a surprising play from me because typically this is where linebacker Robert Spillane excels in, and that's diagnosing and stopping the run. He comes off of a blitz and he misses the tackle, which leads to a big run, unfortunately. Great run stuff here from this defense, and once again Nate Hobbs does a great job in run support, comes off of a blitz and immediately gets into the backfield and forces the running back to try to bounce it to the outside to evade his tackle, and that's where the defensive line finishes the play. Now this was a huge play from our safety Trayvon Merrick on a crucial third down late in the ball game on the line in the fourth quarter. Third down for the Raiders. Trayvon Merrick was able to have good speed right here and was able to make the tackle against the tight end. And look, this was not an easy tackle. Honestly, when I first saw this, I was very nervous. I thought he was gonna miss this tackle. And these are just the type of plays that the Raiders need to make. These are the type of plays they weren't making last year that just costed them ball games. Right here, he's able to force the Broncos to punt this ball, and after that, the Raiders offense ran the clock out, and the Denver Broncos never got the ball again. So look, even though Trayvon Merrick struggled early in the game, we do have to give him his credit because ultimately he made a game-sealing tackle late in the ball game. So shout out to him. So overall, Raider Nation, this defense definitely struggled early in the ball game. Russell Wilson just looked very comfortable out there in the first half, and he's able to move the ball very effectively against the Raiders, passing it down the field. The Raiders struggled to create pressure from their defensive line, and just in general, the defensive line and primarily the interior still concerns me for this team, especially since we didn't really address it in a way like I feel like we should have in the offseason. No real huge free agent acquisitions. The top guys at the defensive tackle position that were on the board for the Raiders, we didn't end up selecting them. And just in general, there were a lot of plays where we got dominated up front and we were unable to create any pressure. Also, the loss of defensive end Chandler Jones also hurts this team, especially since defensive end Tyree Wilson is just not ready to be a full-time starter for this team at the moment, and who knows, it may take him a while. But our other rookie, Jacorian Bennett, I thought he had a solid performance. Overall, he had pretty good coverage. He just needs to clean up the penalties, but what I liked from him was that he was in a good position to make a play on the ball most of the time, and I absolutely loved the intensity and physicality he showed, especially when it came to making those open field tackles. I was impressed by Divine Diablo's performance at the linebacker position, and I just loved how cornerback Nate Hobbs performed at the slot position. This is one of the reasons why I wanted him to go back into the slot for this team. Marcus Epps also too, I thought had a solid game. I just liked the communication, the leadership traits he showed on this defense. Multiple different times you can see him making calls on the defense, directing players to certain areas on this defense. He's just a smart football player, and is definitely the type of leadership you need from your safety. But overall from this defense, what I saw is we definitely have to improve on our red zone defense, which is something we've struggled with throughout the years. We didn't really do a great job in this game in that aspect, and the Raiders need to stop with those boneheaded penalties that costed us big time. Luckily, we're still able to walk away with the victory, but the Raiders gave up 2 first downs due to penalties off of that false start on that hard count. Second, after the Raiders were able to make a big stop, Jerry Tillery was able to make a sack, and then we get a roughing the kicker call. Those were huge penalties that gave the Denver Broncos first downs. And also, this defense could have had a turnover. We could have had a fumble recovery, but Marcus Peters was caught holding down the field. Look, these plays, the Raiders can't afford to make these same mistakes against the Buffalo Bills. So although the defense did struggle early in the second half, they did step it up. I mean, they only gave up 3 points, And at the end of the day, they only gave up 16 points. And if they can do that on a consistent basis, give up anywhere from 16 to like 23 points, I think this team will be in a great position moving forward, especially since I have a lot of high hopes for this offense moving forward. I also just really love the tackling we saw from this defense. But Raider Nation, let me know what you guys thought of this defense in the comment section down below. Anybody that's new to the channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, that is all for you guys in today's video. I will see you guys in the next one.